Welcome wargamers to a how to paint dark Eldar Venom tutorial. As you can see here, I'm starting to add some dark red to bright red areas to certain parts of the Venom. This is because I'm going to be later adding in some stencils which I'm going to put over the red and then paint back over black. Then we're going to start with the first base coat here. This is going to be Naggaroth Night. It is a very dark purple. Basically what I'm going to be doing is a very light coating with the airbrush, really just tinting the black with the purple to really increase the darkness of the effect. So going to this next step, we're going to be using Daemonette Hide. Just basically working our way up in layers, different layers of purples from deeps to lights. And in this step, we're not really wanting to take too much away from the original dark purple, so we're just hitting the highlight areas. Basically places that we want to draw the attention to or to really stand out, like tips of these wings here. I mean, dark Eldar is very, very spiky, so I figured this would be great places to really just make them pop. I actually took those little spears off because the detail guy was finishing up on some of his earlier projects, so he was ready to take over and finish those up for me. Now we've moved on to Xereus Purple. This is going to be our next highlight. And again, we're not trying to take away from the dark purple, which is the real key point of this model. We're just hitting those highlight areas, going over basically the same spot that we did earlier, only it's on a much smaller scale. Now we're going to start in with the patterns. Basically, we're just going to be doing a crosshatch pattern from left to right in a slightly wavy kind of formation. Nothing major, very basic stuff. Now we've moved on to the next color in this shading step. This is Gene Stiller Purple. And this is going to be used to once again hit the highlights, but mostly this is going to be to focus on those stripes that we're starting to add in as their patterns. Now all I'm doing here is adding some Vallejo white primer to the pot. This way I can just brighten up that Xereus Purple even more. And that's going to be the final extreme highlight. Then we're going to move on. We're going to put a gloss varnish on this model. Now what this gloss varnish is going to do is after this step we're going to all wash the model. And the gloss varnish really gets into all those recesses and really helps the oil wash to flow into the area. Now the reason why we want to do that in particular for this model is because we're going to fully wash the model, but we're not really washing the model as opposed to make a very dirty look. What we want to do is we want to tint those pattern stripes just a little bit. But what a real focus here is all those recesses. We're using a very bright blue, and yes, I pre-mixed my oil washes in paint pot. Comes in handy. But back on point, what we're trying to do here is we want to really get that bright blue. Now it doesn't look bright blue right now, but when it dries it will. We want that into every little recess. Because one of the things about this model is the client gave us a picture, an album cover actually, and it looked like a tie-dye shirt mixed with an explosion. Very colorful. So we took all of the colors out of that picture and started throwing them at this model. And his commission, they're all going to be done in a very similar fashion. Not necessarily like this. Some of the bigger stuff, I think his Ravengers have a completely different design look to them. It's just the two Venoms are going to be done in this particular style. And now we're moving on to the cleanup phase. It wasn't until after I noticed, um, after the video, that I noticed that my fingers and hands were in the way during this part of the video. I apologize for that. I didn't want to take it out. Still wanted to keep it in there just for because I do pull my hands away at certain spots. Now you notice here I went away from the airbrush and I've started to brush it on, so I have it done black. Now the reason why I do doing this right here is because there's certain areas on here that I need to be black. I'm going to come in later and hit with another color, and I just need to get the overspray away. Now usually whenever we pick up a commission, if at possible, we try to get the commissions before a client assembles the model. It's not a requirement, but we prefer to paint in sections. That way we can do all of the details to each individual part without affecting with overspray and things like that. Now that being said, we don't shy away from already assembled models. All that means is we just add another step and drive on. Nothing serious. And this is the part right here where we're going to start hitting in the blues. We're going to be adding OSL to all the little jewel parts on this model. And before I finish up the part one of this video, guys, if you like what we're putting out here, please subscribe and like this. We have more videos coming out in the future. A lot of how-to videos, both with models and terrains, tips, tricks, everything you can think of. There'll be more information in the description below, and thank you for watching our video.